What's up, everybody, and thanks for being here. 2 weeks into the RLCS, and so much ridiculousness has already happened. Predictions make no sense, but at least the games are exciting. One benefit of people playing like booty is it does make things entertaining, so at least we've got that going for us. The recap of North America. In Week 2, the North America match to watch was G2 versus Evil Geniuses. G2's debut didn't disappoint against Evil Geniuses, and they look quite promising. Only one loss so far, being 3-1, and they will have a bye next week. It was the last match of the day, and it went the distance. Make sure you check that out. What was a battle from behind, PSG was trying to claw back against Vitality, showing us that they are truly capable of being great. Bluey did return to some old habits as he was trying to be more of a support unselfish player, but going for the flashy plays with aerials and pre-jumps. Not the best idea, left them very susceptible to counterattacks, and Vitality still remains undefeated at 3-0. Depending on who you root for, there's 2 matches to pay attention to. Match 3 pairs Ghost Gaming up against G2, with Ghost Gaming being 0-4. Another loss means the possibility of missing out on playoffs. This means they would have to fight into relegation, possibly, if they don't make top 6. Last match of the day between Energy and G2. Competitive bout between the two hopefully brings out the best in both teams, as we haven't really seen them at their peak just yet. For me, it's the fact that both of these teams are in a land potential spot, probably one of the top 3 teams in North America, including Cloud9. And depending on how this works out, we may see a team between these two fighting for that second, third place spot, and a tiebreaker with this head-to-head would matter quite a bit. Jacob also goes up against his old roster at some point during the day, so you might want to check that one out as well, as it will be juicy. Can't really go wrong with any of the matches over in Europe, as all the teams have shown their worth at times, some better than others. Personally want to keep seeing how iGnite performs. I mentioned that quite a bit on the desk last week with Gibbs, so my match has to be Complexity versus Envy. It's Envy's first true test, and we'll be able to warm up against a faltering Flipside in the day earlier. I think that's match 2, possibly. Normally I would say PSG versus Gale Force, but I assume Gale Force will take that match. Possibly could go the distance, depends on which PSG shows up, but Gale Force is known for punishing mistakes and being very, very aggressive on offense, which makes more mistakes happen for PSG. Looking at my fantasy team for week number 3, first things I got to double check is to see if any of my players have a bye. Looking through, Gale Force plays in the last match of the day against PSG. Garrett plays 2 games, one against G2, the other against Rogue. I think this should be a dominating performance for him here. G2 against a faltering Ghost, and then Energy. JNAP's still going to have a pretty solid performance. Let's see. Lethmir will be against G2 and against Out of Style. Could get a bunch of points here and a ton of saves here. Probably going to keep Lethmir on Defender. The issue is there's no real easy matches between these two teams, or between any of the teams in North America or Europe. Currently, I'm at 248th overall. We were at 350-ish last week as well, so we definitely bumped up. Chrome's actually a fantastic pickup. He's been playing really, really well. The only difficulty is he's on bye right now. Something I would recommend if you guys don't have Chrome. He's been an excellent pickup. I will say next week, though, is going to be his hardest matches. They've still got Energy and Cloud9 coming up, so maybe want to hold off on that. Either way, he's going to get some points. So the big one that it looks like we're going to do is I see that Fairy Peak is on a bye with Vitality. So we're going to swap him out. We're looking at 1,600 with the 25 left over that we can use. Based upon performances last week, Freaky had a really good week, but I don't expect that to continue. He's also on bye this week, so you may want to pass on that. So looking at performances from last week, based upon everything, Justin, I think, is going to have a really good week as well. I already have Garrett, but I still think Justin's a good pickup just simply for points based upon the matches that he has. Against Rogue, I think he'll rack up quite a bit. And against G2, they have pretty susceptible defense mistakes. Not sure how they're going to perform. So Justin may be a good pickup, something to keep in mind. So one that may sneak by because he's so far down on the list is Gimmick, and that's only because he had a bye in week number 2. Cloud9 only plays Out of Style, and that's an easy way to get a ton of points. So I'm going to swap Gimmick for Fairy Peak and move him up to Attacker because it's the best way to get points. And then I'm going to end up swapping Jnaps to Defender. So I'm moving Gimmick over to Attacker and Jnaps to Defense. By looking at their matchups, I feel like G2 is going to be under a lot of pressure from Energy. Maybe Ghost, they'll be able to sneak some through, but not sure on that one. I'd much rather have him lead the charge and get points that way. I just honestly think that Gimmick's going to get a lot more out of it because they're playing out of style in their only match. In North America, there will be no Evil Geniuses or Counter Logic Gaming, and the only team to have a bye in week number 3 for Europe is Team Vitality, sitting pretty at number 1. Curious to see if Gale Force can go 2-0 and tie that up and put them back on track. I don't know about you guys, but fantasy seems to be a lot more difficult than what it was the past couple seasons. Curious to see how your teams are doing. Make sure you guys drop a comment below and let me know how your teams are doing and what place they are. Feel free to add screenshots. The action starts up again 12 p.m. Pacific time on Saturday and 9 a.m. Pacific time on Sunday. That does it for this week. Can't wait for another week of RLCS coming up, and I hope to see you guys all there cheering on in chat. Make sure you drop your favorite emotes, whether it be PogChamp or some LOL love. I'm out of here. Till next time, guys, this has been Looking Forward.